welcome to another Geno 3 podcast. My name is Andy, and this evening I am joined by Linda. Linda, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks. Good.
You are one of our first special guests. How do you feel about
Special.
that? Special. That's good. The reason why we have asked you to come onto the pod for this episode is you have quite a remarkable story, which has been quite transformational for you and your health. So we wanted to kind of dig in a bit deeper into that and find out a bit about your background as to kind of how you came to a point where you needed to make some significant changes to your health, what impact that had around things like your mindset and a few other things, which I'm sure we'll kind of sort of get into. So really, I think a good place for us to start would be prior to you making all these significant changes and huge inroads in your own health, what was life like before all of this, particularly in your health and your mindset as well? So if you want to kind of lead us off.
I think I used to be pretty much like every other busy working mum. And for years and years, I worked part and full time. I had 3 young children growing up into teens. I had a highly stressful job, helped the kids with all their hobbies. At one point, looked after my elderly mother. And life wasn't really about me. And I didn't really give a lot of thought to what state my health was in. My days were full and busy. And even when I was very stressed at work, I didn't think, well, what can I do about this? You just go through each and every day, like a lot of people do.
You just head down, trudge on through it all.
Just trudge on and grit your teeth, that kind of mentality. And I had 1 or 2 serious health problems in earlier years. So when I was 40, I had encephalitis. And that was pretty bad. And then when I was in my early 50s, I had eye cancer. And that was the 2 big ones. And the rest is just your typical sort of wee bits and pieces that everybody gets.
And how did you feel about those two things? I mean, they're pretty significant, both of them.
I made a full recovery from each, for which I'm truly grateful.
Yeah.
But still, even with these big life events, I still didn't really question what I was doing every day to help myself. I think it's still about everybody else. And for exercise, at that time, I was probably doing a little bit of walking. I've always had dogs, rescue dogs of various sizes, but I wouldn't say I was doing miles. It was just small, short walks here and there. And dietary-wise, I thought I was leading a fairly healthy life because I did all home cooking. We didn't have ready meals. We didn't have a lot of meals out. We couldn't afford it for a start. And I would say generally I thought I ate healthily, but I did have a sweet tooth.
Okay.
So I have gone through these years of weight going on, off, trying to exercise a bit more, lasting a few weeks, it tailing off. I feel as
that
if
sort of yo-yo effect then, is it kind of sort of like you'd had a focus for a period of time and then suddenly you're like unfall into old ways, or
given it my heart and soul to try to improve things. But as I say, busy times, same for a lot of people, there's so much going on. You're bottom of the list for getting sorted out. And when you don't think you're doing that badly, you don't really think about it. You just get through each and every day and go on with your life. So that was what my early sort of part of living was like.
Okay. And see, when you talk about the kind of sweet tooth thing, was there sort of particular points when you were more vulnerable to that? Was it just really kind of when you're kind of like more fatigued, or was it a combination of things, or was triggers?
When I was stressed,
when
I'd done well, when I was disappointed,
the whole shebang.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
When I thought I deserved a reward. And in life, you have all these things all the time. So pretty much treats was just part of my life at that time. And
Okay.
to be honest, life was so busy. I probably deserved it at that time, you know?
Uh-huh.
And I didn't know how else to do that reward thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Um, I've not kind of alluded to it too much, and I would like you to probably do that in this next part, really, I think. But the significant change that took place for you was on the back of some blood tests. But what was the kind of sort of main turning point? Was that the main turning point for you to make some significant lifestyle changes? And maybe talk us through the impact on your mindset and maybe sort of challenges you kind of faced along the way. And just kind of talk us through that. I don't want to say too much. I'm being a wee bit kind of cryptic here because I don't want
Uh,
to take away all your info here. But
I think probably the very start of it, if we go back a few years, was when I retired.
hmm
And I think when I retired, I finally had time. Now, I'm not saying in the first year or two of retirement, that was all about recovery, rest,
hmm
feeling gratitude for not having a head full of stress. And things just pottered along quite nicely. I was still doing a wee bit of walking and
hmm
eating healthily, baking, you know, all the things that you do to fill your gardening. We
hmm
also moved house. So the first couple of years was just about that. And then I started to question whether I was doing the right things. Was I healthy enough? Because you suddenly realise when you retire that you're in the last quarter of your life.
Yeah.
And I also have grandchildren now who you want to see into their teens.
hmm
And there's a dawning realization when you've got time to think about yourself and what life
Yeah.
means to you that maybe you haven't been leading a healthy life and maybe you could do a bit more.
hmm
And I had sort of started to take a bit more control of my eating habits and I'd lost a bit of weight
Yeah.
and I had to go to the doctor for something. I can't even remember what it was. And while I was there, he took my blood pressure, did the usual when somebody goes into a GP surgery,
We
and he
MOT.
told
Yeah.
me that my blood pressure was very high. So he gave me an ECG, which thankfully was okay, and then he sent me for bloods. And I got a phone call a few days later asking me to go into the surgery, which I did. And they told me I was diabetic type 2,
You're
which
like,
came
whoa.
absolute bolt out the blue.
Yeah.
Didn't expect that at all. So I was shocked and I thought that's bizarre. I've been really trying the last year and I've got some
Mm.
weight off and now they're telling me I'm diabetic when I thought I was doing quite well.
Yeah.
So they wanted to put me on medication right away, but I wanted time to process this and to see if I could do and have a closer look at my diet and see if there was anything I could do.
hmm
And so I did. And about the same time, I also was looking at the DNA type test to
Yeah.
give me a bigger picture. So lots and lots of clues are coming to me that I'm not as healthy as I think I am. And maybe I just need to take a closer look and decide what I can do that's not
hmm
too drastic. Because also when you're in your 60s, you can't be going to the gym and heaving weights. Well, you could if you built up to it, but
Yeah.
it's got to be gentler and I wanted it to be building things into my life that I would not do that yo-yo thing, not do
hmm
that in and out of exercise thing, that I could just build in and really enjoy and would bring joy to my life instead of
hmm
misery when you're trying to diet.
Yeah.
So I did look at my diet and I set about changing things and the NHS gave me an app to help me with my food diary
hmm
and I managed to have a phone call with the nurse and more blood tests 4 months later, and she told me that I had gone into remission.
It's
So
amazing. Absolutely amazing.
I was just thrilled because when I had seen her the first time, she looked at me and she said, "You really should go on medication." And I said, "Well, I'm not ready for that." And she said,
hmm
"Look, the chances of you changing your results are slim." She said, "You're not overweight. She said, you don't smoke, you don't drink, and you're just telling me that you eat healthily. So she said, what is it you intend to change that's going to make that difference? And I said, well, let's just see. And I managed to do it. So I'm hoping that after my next blood test results that I'm still the same. I could be, because I've kept up the good habits, but we'll wait and see.
So all your markers and stuff came down, and it's been pretty transformational. I mean, you've gone from a point of a nurse telling you, slim chance that you're going to kind of turn this around. Medication's the likely route if you give this a go and you're unable to make that change. And you're like, well, you know what? I've done all this, and look what's happened. And they must have been quite blown away and surprised as well. What was their reaction
Yeah.
when you?
Oh, the nurse was really, she actually said to me, I don't know how you did it. So it just shows you that you can do it if you set your mind to it.
And you've kind of deep dived into a lot of this information and your DNA profile and looking at aspects of things there to try and get everything in place. And as you say, that diet bit, I think Jen and I had a conversation for you recently. Like, diets are okay to get people started on something, but you need to make a lifestyle change to embed that and then sustain that longer term, because people will go through faddy diets quite regularly and then lose faith in it and not see any significant change. But obviously you've made and embedded those lifestyle changes now that you're not going back to your old ways in that respect, because you know
No.
the negative impact it can have on your health. So it's huge. I mean, I didn't obviously want to say some stuff at the very start of this, but to reverse the type 2 diabetes, there's not many people that can say that they've done that.
Well,
It shows that there's opportunity for people to maybe make positive strides in that direction to try and do that.
Yeah, and I think you have to make the best use of, like, the NHS provides you with the app, and that is a support system, and I used that.
Yeah.
And it taught me, I thought I ate well, but what it taught me was if I ate a healthy breakfast, a healthy lunch, and a healthy dinner, I thought I was doing great.
Yeah.
What the app taught me was you can't look at one meal on its own. You have to look at the accumulation of what you're eating throughout the day. You know, you might have a low-fat meal 3 times a day, but it just takes one wee thing to tip you over the edge from normal range to high range, and that's because you've done 3 things, not because you've eaten one meal. So it did help me figure out where, you know, if you put your meals in and you look at the end of the day and one's gone from normal, high, you're like, wow, what's happened there? So anybody listening, if you get the chance to use I think it was called Viva app, then they should take it, because it was a big help. But the Geno thing has also been a big help in a different way. So I come from a family of people who have had lots of ill health in the past. So we have had heart disease and lots of different types of cancers. We've had Alzheimer's in the family, and all of that. It doesn't prey on your mind, but it's at the back of your mind that your family's had these things. There's a family history there. And I decided to go ahead and get the DNA test done with Geno 3, because I wanted a deeper dive into me as a person and what my risks were.
Yeah.
And it just absolutely blew my mind when it came back. Because generally when people think about their health, they think about food. They think, I need to change my diet and maybe the exercise. But I think when I got my results back, it spoke about so many things. You know, your risk factors for your health and toxins that would be particularly dangerous for you to be near. How stress affects you, how sleep affects you, what diet is best for you. It told me that a Mediterranean diet was best for me, which fits in diabetes. It also told me that I would be predisposed to diabetes. So it predicted
So that
it.
rung true. Yeah.
Nobody in my family is diabetic, but it was in my genetic code. And it also told me that I am at risk of heart disease,
Hmm.
which wasn't a surprise. So when you see it in black and white, it's
Eye opener.
a real eye opener,
Yeah.
and it makes you think it's in my DNA. And if
Hmm.
I don't circumvent this, this could be my path, as was
Yeah.
true with the diabetes.
Hmm.
So I've then had to look at, well, I'm dealing with the diabetes. I've now got to deal with the heart, the predisposition to
Hmm.
heart disease. And I've put in place lots of things because of that. Now they're all small. I'm not talking about suddenly having to run a marathon. They're all
Hmm.
small changes, but the small changes have made quite a big difference. So instead of that wee bit of walking, I'll walk. I've now got a young dog, which means I have to walk. But I walk between 3 and 5 miles every day.
Hmm.
As soon as I found out I had a predisposition towards heart disease, I realised that I should really be bringing some cardio into this
Absolutely.
to,
Yeah.
to improve my cardiovascular health. So I started a dance class,
Hmm.
and just this week I've started using resistance bands, which shockingly made my heart pump like nobody's. So it's just, the resistance bands I might do 2 or 3 times a week for
Yeah.
15 minutes. Anybody can
Hmm.
fit that in. It's
Yeah.
not difficult. I've got a wee poster to tell me what to do, bought some resistance bands for a fiver, no gym,
Hmm.
no gym membership needed.
Yeah.
Um, I've thought about the toxins that are specific to me that the Geno profile told me about. And I've changed quite a few things in the house, like all my food in my fridge is now in glass containers. When I get fruit in your plastic punnets, I take them
Hmm.
out, wash them, they go into glass. I now filter my water. Um, just, I don't know, these things take no effort,
Hmm.
but you
It's
don't
small,
know.
small
It's all these little
adaptations to,
things added
yeah.
together that make you have a healthy picture.
Hmm.
And um, I would say when I first got my Geno report, I felt a wee bit overwhelmed, but the
Hmm.
girls helped me sort it out, and I just chipped away at it over weeks and months,
Hmm.
improving one wee thing at a time.
Yeah.
And I have to say, this is maybe going to sound mad, but I'm 66 now.
Hmm.
I probably feel healthier and fitter now than I have done at any other point in my life.
That's
So,
crazy. Yeah.
I mean, I did a 10-mile walk, a 10-mile hill walk with a friend a month ago, and I was shocked that I wasn't even bothered. My legs
That's
were fine.
brilliant.
I wasn't out of breath. I could have gone. I could have kept going.
Hmm.
And I know that when I was younger, I couldn't have done that.
No.
So I just feel really good, and I'll keep going. And I feel like this is it. There's no
Hmm.
going back. I'll never go back.
You're fully on board and fully committed to it, and
Yeah.
I think it's an amazing story. I mean, going back historically into your kind of sort of family history of health, your own personalized health, and without having a look at that sort of DNA profile in a lot of respects, you wouldn't have known a lot of these things. It's just you would have
It's
been guided
guesswork.
through as these things
Uh,
happened, as you felt a certain way that you might need to go and speak to a doctor or a nurse about it,
uh,
and it you're able to affect that kind of small changes, but they're
uh,
cumulative and they're massive, and they've actually, as you said in your own words, like this is probably the fittest and healthiest you've been since you can remember. I mean,
uh,
it's huge, absolutely huge. I
uh,
mean, what I would say at this point as well is that if people do have sort of genuine concerns around their health, that when we're talking about on our podcast, it's very much a kind of conversational, personalized story aspect in this case today, which I really appreciate you sharing, Linda. But people should seek proper medical advice, as you said before, and GPs, specialist nurses, if you do have any concerns. But we just wanted to kind of be able to share this evening your personalized story to hopefully kind of inspire others. Talk through the process a little bit more as well. So, with that all in mind, is there any other sort of examples or times when you've kind of sort of held yourself accountable when things have got tough? Because it's probably not been easy. As you say, you've chipped away at it, you've used the information. Has there been times when you've found maybe weaker moments, and how have you kind of sort of overcome that or temptation?
Um, I think we're a family that like to set goals, and
Hmm.
um, this latest thing that I've done was, as I said before, treats are my weakest thing,
Hmm.
and I eat them, for lots of reasons, good and bad.
Yeah.
But I decided, just out the blue, I just decided one day, right, I'm going to have a sugar-free month.
Hmm.
Now, I don't mean sugar-free in terms of natural sugar, so I'm still having fruit, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I
More
meant
refined sugars.
refined sugar, no
Yeah.
cake, no biscuits, no sweets, no chocolate, no puddings, nothing like that at all. Which,
Hmm.
if for some people, if you've not got a sweet tooth, that's like, oh well, that's fine.
Yeah.
But it's quite a big deal for me, And anyway, I have a group of friends that I talk to on WhatsApp, and when I put on that I was going to have a sugar-free month, one of the ladies immediately came back and said, "I'll join you, Linda. I'll do it too."
Hmm.
So the two of us decided, right, this is it. And I was on my third day when I had just a dreadful day. I can't even remember why it was dreadful, but by the time I got to evening, I was exhausted. I was really tired. I was
Hmm.
really fed up. And the cravings to get into the biscuit tin, they were
Hmm.
almost, I mean, I was practically having to hold my hand to keep it out the biscuit.
Yeah.
It was just hard, really hard. But then I thought of Jean, my friend, and I thought,
Hmm.
I cannot contact her and say I've only lasted 3 days.
Yeah.
That was what stopped me doing it because the embarrassment factor would have been massive.
Hmm.
So I did stay away from it. And by the time I'd gone to my bed and got up in the morning, it was gone.
Yeah.
So I've now done 3 weeks and I haven't given in. I've had two times like that.
Hmm.
But I've managed to get the first one was the hardest. The second one, I just told myself not to be so ridiculous and get over it, and I did.
Like, give yourself a shake. Give yourself a shake. You're
So
not
yeah,
good
so I've
enough.
got 1 week left,
Hmm.
and apart from these two times, it's been fine. Because it's not like I'm eating sweeties all day or anything like that. It's just at
Yeah.
certain points you have a weak moment. So I'm quite pleased with myself that I'm 3 weeks in and I haven't broken it once.
Hmm.
And I've had people, I had somebody brought me homemade jam the other day and she wanted me to sit and have it on a scone and I didn't. I felt really bad.
Oh.
But, you know, another
Yeah.
week and then I think that whole feeling that you get when you're
Hmm.
sort of addicted, I'm hoping that'll be gone by then. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'll never have treats, but I think
Hmm.
I'll be much more mindful of how often.
More
Too
measured.
easy
Yeah.
to put your hand in a biscuit tin, too easy.
Hmm.
So I think I'll be more mindful. Do I really need that? You're
Hmm.
just going to feel really bad if you stuff yourself with sugar.
Yeah.
So that's something that's, if anybody's listening, joining up with a friend and setting yourself a time. I think in the past as well, when I've felt like a biscuit, you get that feeling where you have the biscuit and then you go, I'll start again tomorrow.
Hmm. Hmm. There's all you kind of procrastinate, you put it off. It'll
Yeah,
be I'll
yeah,
start on
do it
Monday
tomorrow.
or I'll next week or after this event or that.
Uh-huh.
You kind of try and almost justify it in your own head,
Yeah,
don't you?
yeah. But I think because I set that date of a month, it's
Hmm.
not too long, it's not too short, and it was a goal that I really wanted to reach. So
Hmm.
I think that's probably stopped the procrastination. Once I started, that was it.
Yeah. And
So,
I think the accountability as well. I mean, that's great that you've kind of hooked up with a friend, and it could be something that other people who are maybe struggling with that individually could
uh-huh,
maybe set something up. It's dead easy to do. It's just a
uh-huh,
conversation with someone else, and you kind of hold each other accountable for it. And
uh-huh,
because you are going to find these moments, there are going to be,
uh-huh,
it's never going to be like plain sailing. Like things happen in life, and people just either through happiness or sadness or any other sort of a field of emotions, which you talked about before, it didn't really
uh-huh,
matter what it was. If it was there, there was a temptation. But then you knew afterwards, would you be then be full of regret about it and things? And yeah, it's about balance, isn't it? It's about not, and if somebody makes a choice to completely cut that out of their diet and you had a significant factor that you needed to review that. Obviously, your type 2 diabetes, so you had to make a change. But yeah, it's enjoying things as well. So yeah, it's
And
all
I
about
think my
balance.
friend's done the 3 weeks too.
Hmm.
She hasn't had any lapses either. So
That's good.
we've kept each other going.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you for that. I mean, it's been quite an amazing journey you've kind of gone through, and I think your eyes have been open to a lot more depth and detail about your own health based on
Mm.
the kind of unchangeable aspects in that DNA information. But if you were to pass on a snippet of advice to some of our listeners who might be in maybe the same position or similar position, kind of health wise, have you got any it's like nuggets of golden nuggets of advice that you could pass on to people?
I would say if I wish I'd had the DNA test many years ago,
Hmm.
because if I'd had it when I was, say, mid 30s to 40,
Yeah.
would I then have been able to take a long, hard look at what I was eating and never have had a diabetes type 2 diagnosis
Hmm.
and been working towards good heart health far sooner than I am
Yeah.
now? And I don't think you're ever too old either. You know,
Hmm.
there is, because it's not just food and exercise, because it's lots of other things in there, sleep and caffeine and toxins, and
Hmm.
you can get a much bigger picture. And if you have that when you're young, you can make changes when you're young.
Hmm.
Not too young. You know, when you're young, you think you're invincible.
Hmm.
And I think, would you really make a lot of changes? But once you're hitting your late 30s and into your 40s, that's when you start to question your health a wee bit.
Hmm.
And if you had it there in black and white, what you were predisposed to, what diet would suit you best, what things you should definitely avoid, what sleep pattern you should have, what window for eating you should have, it
Hmm.
just means you're optimizing every aspect of your health. So I would say I wish I'd been had access to this when I was younger. So
Okay.
if people out there are listening, then that's what I would say. Go for it
Hmm.
and see what your profile is like and what you can do to
Hmm.
change stuff for the future. And then you can be health. I'm 66 and feeling really healthy. Why could I not have felt like this when I was 45? You
Hmm.
know. So
And I think as well as you say, you want longevity. So you've had a hard sort of working life. You don't want to just kind
mhm,
of get to that point where a lot of people just accept the fact, well, it's an age thing. When it's not, it's you can
yeah,
be fit and healthy. You're 66 years old, and you're saying that you're the fittest and healthiest you've been since ever you can remember. So, as you say,
mhm,
across the spectrum of ages,
mhm,
it's something which people need that's useful for them because you want to have
mhm,
longevity to do all these other things in your life in retirement. You've
mhm,
got the footloose, fancy free, going out on
mhm,
holidays, socializing, going out your walks, doing your exercise, seeing your grandkids. All of these things you want to be doing as fit and as healthy as you possibly can be, and it goes much more beyond the kind of sort of stereotypical diet and exercise. And age shouldn't really be a barrier. But yeah, I think it's really good advice, and I think that forearmed and forewarned is, I suppose, having all that information at your disposal to then make some
mhm,
decisions. And I think that rather than it being a reactive thing to, well, I'm not ill, then that's just I'm okay then. When actually there's lots of things underlying that could be made,
mhm,
subtle changes, as you said, small changes which could have a much bigger impact. So no, I
mhm.
really, really appreciate your time and